republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Lana. Bob is absent. Dan.
Aye.
Al.
Yep.
And Aaron.
Present.
Dee.
Yes.
And I'm here. All right, everybody's accounted for. Consent agenda, this is just the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to accept the consent
So
agenda?
moved.
Okay, do I have a second? Is there any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Right.
Approved. Carried. Council's comments. Al, you got anything?
No.
Dan, you got anything?
Nope.
Lana?
No.
No. Okay. Acting city clerk's comments.
Just today, Mary Jo, has the Pocahontas County Economic Development, stopped in this afternoon. And Pocahontas County Economic had an intern this summer. And one of his jobs was to put together a video for each community in the county. And I got to see ours, and it looks really good. I'm really impressed. It should be posted on Facebook over the next 2 weeks. So if you just go to Pocahontas County Economic Commission, you'd be able to see it. Palmer's came up today already, so you definitely want to see it. It's really good. It's a good representation, a good positive feeling about the town. So.
Good. Anything else?
Nope.
All right, mayor's comments. I think everybody's already aware that they're gonna start the sidewalks next week. Within the next week or so, they'll be starting to take the trees out along Garfield here. I sent out letters to all the residents who, their property borders Garfield and would be affected by the tree removals. And so the project is moving ahead. I don't think that they're gonna get to any paving this year on the highway. They did talk at our last meeting about the, coming to do some of the drainage and, things like that that are associated with the roadway, but they didn't talk about doing anything with the roadway because of the primary contractors, basically, their workload is such that they probably won't get to it this year. Unless we have a late fall or a light winter, then they might get to something. We'll see.
Jim,
Yeah.
I don't know if, did you hear that the railroad is gonna open theirs up now, they're gonna do it too?
Yeah, the railroad did approve their stuff. So the sidewalk work is going to go around the corner over to, actually across the railroad tracks, and then it'll stop. And then that gravel area in front of the Rolfe tire and battery store over there, the garage, there won't be a sidewalk there, but then the sidewalk will start up again by that drain that is on the edge of your property and between you and the co-op. And then it'll go all the way out to 2nd Street. And then, of course, the sidewalks will go north all the way to Pine Street. And then we'll see how it goes. The guys have been trying to find all the curb stops because they're not sure whether they're gonna have to extend the neck on those or they're gonna have to relocate them or whatever. Because out there in the roadway, they're gonna take about 1.5 feet on each side, cut back the asphalt to put in the new curb and gutters. And then they'll put the sidewalks in. Also, I did hear that there is a definite project to replace the bridge here going north out of town. Don't know what fiscal year it's set for, but they've been doing a lot of engineering this year. So at some point in the next few years, we'll probably see that bridge replaced. So that was kind of surprising news to me. And that's all I have. Next item is unfinished business. Last regular meeting, we tabled the discussion on vacant property fees, so we need to go back to that. We didn't have any fees, no one had an idea of where to go. I gave you a spreadsheet there, that came from the city of Mobile. That's what they use. I thought it was fair, but I wanted to bring it to your attention so we could talk about that. And so are there any questions on the registration fee process itself or the need for the registrations or anything like that? Any council member have any questions on that? Okay.
So if there's a vacant building, then that's where this comes into play, that they would be charged that.
So, for example, my building down here, as long as there's things inside the building, and the building and the property being maintained, is that considered vacant or? not?
No, because you have, your business emanates out of
Okay,
it.
okay,
It doesn't have to be manned full-time, but it has.
okay, got it.
So there were some concerns about that.
So are we gonna go with this?
Well, that's up to you guys.
I mean, we gotta decide that tonight.
Yeah, yeah, and so that would be the next step is to, are these fees reasonable? Do we need to change something there? We need to decide that so we can,
Is this gonna be something that they don't pay it, we can put on our taxes? Or how do we get the money out of it?
well,
Yeah.
there's a fine process. I mean, basically it,
Yeah, it can be a, I don't know, I can't
if
be
they,
a.
if they don't, if they violate, basically violations are, if you don't register it, it's the maximum amount allowed by the nuisance abatement procedure, which is $750 a day if the court finds that. If,
I know, but they found in our favorable reform, we still haven't got any money from.
well, depends upon what the city asked for. If the city just asked for reasonable fees, then reasonable attorney fees and court costs and things like that, that's all we get. Now,
But we can't do like they do for like if you're delinquent in your child support, they can actually take it out of your wages, we can't do that in this.
no, the most that could happen is you go to court, you get a finding, and there's a fine, and you don't pay it. The city has the ability to put it out as a special assessment against that person's property, any property that person owns. So if they have a junkyard over here and they think that, well, that it'll be against that, no, it can be put against their primary residence too. That's the latitude that happens in the Iowa state law. So,
Well, if this has been working for them, I think we should go with this, that's my opinion. So I move that we go with this same thing as they use.
all right. So let me read this resolution then.
It's gotta be seconded.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll second it.
What's that?
Is it a yearly thing, cause it says first 2 years?
Yeah,
Huh?
so go, yeah.
The first and second year, each year is
So the
$100.
first year's $100, the
Second
second year's
year's
$100, and the third year's 200,
Yep,
and the fourth year's 400.
right.
And then failure to register is $100 a month.
No, it's not $100 a month. It's basically the maximum amount allowed by the nuisance abatement procedure. In other words, $750 a day. I don't see why anybody would want to go down that road and go to court and have a large fine.
Okay, let's go back then. Failure to register per month is, was just pointed out.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, you're right,
Okay,
I misspoke.
So
Okay.
it is 100.
yep.
Yeah, failure to register per month, $100.
Yeah.
So it could be up to 1,300 for the first year.
Yep. Sure.
Could
Might
be.
encourage them to get rid of it.
Well, do something with it.
Yeah.
I mean, make it livable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That. Here too, so we gotta add that back in.
Just put something there and then we wouldn't do that.
So anyway, we have a motion, we have a second, now I need a roll call vote. Now, let me read it first. Resolutions to establish abandoned / vacant building registration fees to be enumerated under the city's fee schedule for the year commencing 1 January, or January 1st. That way, when we do the other fees in the city, we can do them selectively, raise them if necessary. All right, so motion made by Dan, second by Lana. Resolution resolved, the following is the proposed annual abandoned / vacant building registration fee schedule for the city of Rolfe beginning August 21st today. The purpose, first and second year registration fee is $100. Third year, $200, fourth year, $400. Failure to register per month, $100. Violations, as we discussed, maximum amount is allowed under the nuisance abatement procedure. Failure to secure and maintain the building is also maximum amount under the nuisance abatement procedure. People just can't, they won't be allowed to just let the building fall apart. So with that said, we need a roll call vote. So Dan?
Aye.
Al?
Sure.
Okay.
Yay.
And we have one absent. Jackson.
Okay.
So, whereupon the mayor declares that the resolution is passed and approved this 21st day of August, 2024.
Isn't it the
23rd, second.
22nd, yes.
22nd.
I'm sorry. All right, next is new business, so we need to set the hourly rate for the acting clerk. Dee has gone above and beyond, her fee, or her rate for the treasurer is just part-time, this is just not fair, so I think we need to, compensate her for her time and efforts here until we get a new,
So
clerk in place. And
what is it currently?
And the clerk is trained.
I'm currently 1651.
So what was that in hourly
It
rate?
was between 25 and 26.
It was 25.63, I think
Or
it
something,
was.
yeah, it's either that or 71.
Anyway, I think she's going above and beyond here and putting some of her personal stuff aside to help us out here, so.
Well, I got a question. Have we even ran the ad yet? Oh, no, we can't. until it's
We
done.
can't until we approve it tonight.
Right.
So it'll be next week's paper.
10 days.
Next week's paper, I'll get it on Indeed, and I've talked to Mary Jo Whitwarler. It'll be on Pocahontas County Economic Development Facebook page.
So we got a week before we.
Well, it'll go up on Indeed right away and then on the,
Do you realize we don't have to advertise in a paper? You can post it around town and you can advertise and it doesn't cost anything on the League of Cities site. Which, I'm just saying,
And Mary Jo was at a meeting today, and she mentioned it too. But I think it's a good way to get it out there. If you don't wanna run it every week, that's your decision.
just knew before there was a problem that Indeed was too expensive when we were looking for our utility guys and what have you,
And
so.
so maybe you want me to look at Indeed and see what the cost is, and we can maybe not do it there.
I just knew
What would
that
you
was
like
the
me-
comment, it's so expensive that
Yeah.
that's,
Anyway,
yeah.
well, I think we need to get the word out there to get the best possible candidates to put it,
Yeah, it costs a little bit,
put,
But don't we have to, let's see, we have to advertise for 10 days. is what I got told by the league.
That's probably true. We can set it for 10 days, 2 weeks, a month, whatever.
That's what is.
I think the
trying to
minimum is 10
Bill,
days.
somebody at the league said,
Yeah,
Basically
it
for
was
10 days.
We get back to D, what do you think, Sheriff D? What do you want?
I mentioned to Jim someplace, I thought 23 to 24.
Well,
are
I
there
don't know.
any current reports that are due state or fed that you've gotta do other than
Yeah, yeah.
what I call the daily type?
Well,
things?
and I'm doing, I know about 50% of what she did. So I've already done way more than, right now, I've worked 3 days and I've done way more than I've ever done before. So,
Bill's, the bill paying process is painful, and she went in there and learned it, and so the bills are paid. Now we have paychecks on Friday, so that's a big hurdle right there. There are a number of reports that are due
yeah.
here and there, and we have to, you know,
We're trying to, the two of us trying to click off what needed to be done immediately, so.
and everybody wants everything yesterday.
So are
Which is normal.
we gonna go from 17 to 23, or are we gonna give her the 7? I mean, how you want? I'd be more comfortable just giving her a raise like 23.
I originally said to him, and what I have on this resolution, is I take the raise, I'd like a raise while I am acting city clerk and through the training of who your new clerk is. And at that point, then I can go back to my substitute city clerk pay, my part-time pay.
Well, that sounds fair to me.
Yeah, I'm 23 now, and then go back to whatever you get.
Everybody understands that, so, we need to do a resolution to make that happen,
So we have to do a motion.
so.
Yeah, you gotta do a motion.
So, I need a motion to move ahead with a resolution, to increase her pay, effective immediately and through, the training, hiring and training of the replacement clerk.
And I wanna mention too, before you even think about this, I'm not going to be full-time. I have my own business things I need to do. I have my own, I mean, I like to do other things, and I'll try to be here as much as I possibly can. But I'm not gonna show up at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm sorry. That's, you know, so if you're thinking that you're gonna get somebody that's full-time, I'll do my best to be here as much as I possibly can. But there might be a day a week that the city hall will be closed, because I've got other things.
Well, we got used to that.
So anyway, we have to do a resolution for that, so,
Motion.
this is a resolution to approve a wage for the period commencing, August 19th until the new Rolfe city clerk is hired and trained, so I'd have a motion to move ahead with this resolution.
So moved.
Aaron?
Wait, let's see.
And are we doing it
What's that?
at the 23, is that, I mean, we.
I said between 23 and 24, you decide.
So 23.50.
There you go, 23.50, split right down the middle.
So I have a motion by Aaron.
I'll second it.
All right, so the resolution resolved is, the following is a proposed wage starting August 19th. The employee is Deanne Centerguard, present salary $16.51, new salary $23.50 an hour for duties as acting city clerk. All right, so with that, I need to do a roll call vote, so Aaron,
Yay.
Lana,
Yes.
Al,
Yep.
Dan. 4 ayes, 1 absent, Jackson. So,
Finish up.
okay, so,
Yep, that's all, we'll do
Yeah.
that, because this isn't.
all right, got that done. All right, job opening notice, everybody should have a copy of this in front of them, this is what we
Did
drafted
everybody,
up.
they have the next one? Says, well, full-time city clerk position. the mayor got some information from other cities, and this is actually, and I took the one that the city had here in 2007, so we just kind of worked through that, what we kind of, the two of us thought would work out. So,
So if you've read it, I just need,
So is this what you're putting in?
this is what we will put out to the world.
So I have one question, fifth line down, accounts payroll, should that be payable?
well, probably, yes, thank you.
It's gonna be an extensive ad, which, that's fine.
Al, any questions? Yeah.
And again, you tell me where you wanna have it publicized. And I'll also hang up in town, also in the bank and at Heartland. But we've always advertised in the Rolfe Democrat. Did you advertise in Indeed the last time?
No.
Because it was
I
caught.
adamantly remember Angie just saying it is terribly expensive, but
Want to put that much in there, I suppose it is,
Yeah,
but we're trying to get somebody that's gonna fill this position.
The record
will you
is
actually be
this.
listing the benefits and everything in that same ad?
I could probably do something shorter. Why don't I go into Indeed and see what they actually say, and then I'll kind of make the mayor and I can make a decision on.
And I do know you can, like I said, Iowa League of Cities, there's no cost.
Yeah, I think we should definitely hit that Iowa League of Cities, if nothing else, it gets people in need, that are already doing it, that might
Yes,
actually live closer to town and say, hey, I want to go to Rolfe instead of driving to.
yeah.
Right, we can add that to it, and then, so does anybody have any further things to add, or? And what I'd like to get is a motion to go ahead and take this and do a little research with what we have here, maybe edit it, and, then go with it. We need to get this out.
And the benefits are down there just because I listed those in case you guys asked. I just didn't want to do it for you.
I made a motion to take this and let Jim and Dee work it around and get it out.
All right, have a motion by Dan to let us take this forward and edit it and get it out. Do I have a second?
Unfortunately, yeah, because we won't even see these ads, well, it could go on Facebook and wherever, but the Record Democrat, it won't even hit the paper till next week on it,
Yeah.
so.
Yep.
We gotta get it over to them tomorrow, so it can be out next week, so do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Right.
Clerk appointment discussion was brought to my attention, the language in our present ordinance. Basically, there's, it's an indefinite period that we appointed for. And, maybe we need to look at shortening that period, going into the future, so.
So you'll notice I have 3 different copies. The first one I've highlighted under 2 years. The term would be just 2 years, so if you would read that section and how that would look. The next one's yellow. It says it serve at the discretion of the council, which is basically what it's been right now. Am I correct on that, Jim? Yeah. And the next one, the one that doesn't have any marks, shall appoint the majority vote of the city clerk to term of 2 years. The clerk shall receive such compensation as established by a resolution.
The change in this one over the first one is that at its first meeting in January,
Oh,
we
yeah, that's it.
appoint
There we
the
go.
clerk. And then every 2 years, when the new council comes on, we appoint. So, that was just a language change that some towns do, some towns do the ones, in the very first one, the pink highlighted one. And some towns do the, at the discretion of the council, and there's everything in between.
I guess to see pros and cons.
So, what I want you guys to do is just pick the one you think is best for us, and then we'll go ahead and do that as a resolution.
My thought was, and this sort of goes on our experience at the post office a little bit, but my thought was, when you're appointing indefinitely or at the discretion of the council, I mean, that basically says somebody, I'm here until they can find somebody better. And it sets that comfort level of thinking, they're not gonna get rid of it because they're not gonna find anybody.
Or does it give the attitude of, I could be gone tomorrow? You know, it doesn't make them feel secure either. I mean, I see both sides.
I can see it that way too. But my thought was with the 2 years, sort of like, at the post office, our appointment is for 360 days. We know going in, we're there for 360 days. We know at the end of 360 days, we could be gone. You know, obviously, we do our job good, you know, we do what we're supposed to do, we show up when we're supposed to show up. More than likely, we'll get reappointed. My thought was, if we have that 2-year window in there, that gives them, you know, not so much, okay, I can get really comfortable and do whatever I want. They know going in, they're there for 2 years, and then they're gonna have to be reappointed. My thought is just, makes them have a little bit more responsibility in themselves, because they know they're not just gonna be there forever.
So we're just bringing that up for discussion, so.
I kinda agree with that. It's, I never thought about it that way,
But that's what we currently have, is at our discretion, basically.
Yeah, the one with the yellow one.
Right.
you know, like you said, you know, you kinda get seated in and
Or is it a discouragement of, well, I'm not gonna move here or locate here because, you know, I hate to be the negative, but I could be gone tomorrow. You know, they go to the time and effort and expense. I don't know, if it'll discourage people from.
discretion too,
Yeah.
you know, that,
Currently just says, you know, vote a city clerk to serve for an indefinite term. And so,
Yeah, but as a council, we got the right to let her go over any time.
yes, appointments can be withdrawn at any
If
time for any
we
reason.
choose the one that says discretion, but if we say 2 years, we wouldn't have that.
No, I know you can fire wherever.
An appointment is by the appointing body. That can be withdrawn at any time, just like you hear on the news. You're serving at the pleasure of the president, and he can say, I want you to leave. We got somebody better for the job, or thank you very much. Hit the road, whatever.
I think if you put a time in there, that's gonna make them nervous, because they're not gonna move here if they know. I mean, they know anyway that they can be fired at any time, because that's Iowa's law. So I don't think we need to put, I don't
so
think.
you're going
time.
for discretion, I mean,
Yeah, I wouldn't put the 2 years, because if they come in and look at it, they're like, well, even if I'm doing my job in 2 years, they're gonna fire me. You know, then I gotta reapply.
That's one way they could look at it, and the other way they could say, hey, you know, every 2 years I've been doing great, so they're gonna keep me on, reappoint me.
Yeah, but why do we have to put a time frame on it?
I'm not saying you have to, I'm just saying there's different things rather than indefinite, you know. So, it might motivate some, it might turn some away.
You know, during the closed session last time when we were discussing, you know, this wasn't a one-time occurrence. It happened, things that happened in the past previously that, you know, sort of repeated itself cyclically, if you will. I don't know.
So I threw 3 versions out there for you guys to look at. If you don't wanna make any changes, that's fine. If you wanna do one of these here, then we can, you know, these are already made out so that if you wanna select one of them, we can make a change.
The yellow one's the one we got now.
No, we don't,
Well, it's
any of these
similar
are,
to it.
The one that isn't highlighted is the one we got now.
No, neither one, because now it says what?
Indefinitely.
It says indefinite.
Instead of at the discretion, it says indefinite term.
but that's basically what we had.
The yellow one is basically what we have, just
Yeah.
different word.
some have 1 year, some have, you know, it just depends upon your city and what you want.
Yeah, I mean, you could leave it just like it is, where it says indefinitely, if that's what you wanna do.
bringing it forward because it was brought to my attention. We need to discuss these things.
Why don't we go with the discretion? I think, I kinda like the way it was, you know, we kinda got,
Yeah.
you know, and I don't think it'd be any different with that 2 year, do you think? I mean, if somebody's not doing their job, you know, we kinda got milking this damn, you know, this thing, and, it kinda,
It depends on the individual. I mean, some individuals, you know, just like, I saw all positive, Alana pointed out how it could look all negative and go against us. I mean, it depends on the individual. I mean, some individuals would say, hey, 2 years, I need to do well so I can get reappointed. Some are gonna say, hey, 2 years, I don't wanna have to do all this again in 2 years. So, I mean, going with the discretion is fine too. I mean,
You gotta realize that whoever you hire as a clerk is going to be taking classes 3 times a year,
That's
3
the
days a
avenue I
week.
go down.
You're
It's money, it's
investing,
dollar signs.
you're investing money into this person to learn how to be a city clerk. And if it's somebody that you wanna keep them, you don't wanna discourage them to go to another town. You know, you have to look at those types of things.
But it takes longer than 2 years to get them fully trained. doesn't
Yes,
it?
it takes more than 2 years to get fully trained, yes.
So then
To be a
I agree with
certified
Dan, go
city
with the
clerk.
discretion, because they're not gonna be fully trained after 2 years.
well, they're being trained the whole time they're working, you know.
Well,
basically.
it's on the job training, but they need a formal classroom too.
To be a certified clerk, it takes more than 2 years. Yes.
I make a motion to go with discretion.
All right, do I have a second on that?
A second.
All right, then,
I got this.
all in favor to go with that version?
aye.
Okay,
Yep.
so unanimous that we're gonna go with this version. Okay, so now this is an ordinance change here, and this will require 3 readings. Now, let me tell you something here, that we don't have to do 3 readings on any ordinance. State law provides that, 2 considerations before final passage, how you waive that. A proposed ordinance or amendment must be considered and voted on for passage at 2 council meetings prior to the meeting at which it is finally passed, unless this requirement is suspended by the recorded vote of not less than 3/4 of all the members of the council. If a proposed ordinance amendment or resolution fails to receive sufficient votes for passage at any consideration and vote thereon, the proposed ordinance amendment or resolution shall be considered defeated. So we can speed the process up if that's what the council desires, but it has to go with,
At least 3/4.
has to be 3/4 of the total.
And the motion would be,
So-
I move to suspend the rule of the second and third reading of the ordinance.
So anyway, we got to do the first reading, so, this will be ordinance number, I think it's 246. I'll check on that number. And, an ordinance amending the code of ordinances for the city or of Rolfe, Iowa by amending provisions pertaining to the city clerk, being enacted by the city council of the city of Rolfe, section 1, section modified, section 1801 of the code of ordinances of the city of Rolfe, Iowa is amended to read, the council shall appoint by majority vote a city clerk to serve at the discretion of the council. The clerk shall receive such compensation as established by resolution of the council. There's a severability clause, basically, any section, provision, or part of this ordinance shall be adjudged invalid or unconstitutional. Such adjudication shall not affect the validity of the ordinance as a whole or any section, provision, or part thereof not adjudged invalid or unconstitutional. When effective, shall be in effect from and after its final passage, approval, and publication as provided by law. So this will be the first reading. So do I have a motion to approve this amendment to the ordinance?
I move to approve.
All right,
I second.
all right. And we need a roll call vote.
Well, you already did that.
And So now can we do?
Well,
Yeah, you better do it again, just do
yeah,
it again.
yeah. So, roll call vote, Dan,
Yes.
Rob, oh, excuse me, Rob's not here. Al,
Yes.
Lana,
Yes.
Aaron.
Yay.
Okay. So we have 4 ayes and 1 absent. So the motion is carried. Now,
Now, can we pass that?
You could say, I move to suspend the reading of the second and third readings of this ordinance.
Okay, I moved what you just got through saying.
okay, so Dan makes a motion to suspend the second and third reading.
I'll second.
Aaron seconds that. So we need another roll call vote. Aaron,
Yay.
Lana,
Yes.
Dan.
Yep.
Al.
Yep.
Okay, that's 3/4. All right, so that's the first and final reading. So this is passed and approved by the city of Rolfe on this day, this 21st day of August 2024. Okay, I need to, since Connie resigned, she was on the fire board, I need to have another person volunteer. I'm already on the fire board, Connie and Al also on the fire board. So it's Connie resigned, so I need to have a volunteer for fire board. We meet probably 2 times a year.
It's not a monthly thing, so.
Yeah. Okay, Aaron. All right, Aaron volunteers for that. I also need to have, since our clerk left, need to assign somebody to the solid waste commission. I'm sitting in there temporarily, I can continue on, if somebody else wants to do that, I'll step aside. Anybody interested? They meet every other month over at the courthouse.
At what day and time?
That I don't know, but it's every other month meeting. And it's
I'm
usually in the
guessing it's
evening.
day- Oh, it is.
It's usually in the
Besides on
evening,
business.
5:30-ish. Something like that. I can continue on if nobody wants to take that on.
We're gonna let-
Okay, I'll just continue on with that. Just let that go. I'll let you guys know that you're gonna be firework. Last thing is, actually, there's 2 things left. Last time, at the last regular meeting, we read the first reading of the tree planting restrictions for ordinance chapter 151. And so we read that, and now we need to do a second reading. And just so you know, second readings can be done readings can be done in consecutive days at meetings, but we'll just take advantage of the special. So,
So since it's been read once, can we do as we did the other and waive the second, third? Or should it have been done at the,
we can, well, yeah, well, actually, we can make a motion to suspend the second and third reading.
I make that motion?
All right, I have a motion by Lana to suspend the second and third reading. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call vote.
Discussion first?
Huh?
Discussion first?
We can discuss. We made,
So on this copy that's in front of us, it does not reflect the
Well, that change.
removing line item B under item number 3
we,
that was originally approved.
yeah,
This is the same copy that you got the other night, so that needs to be taken out.
Yeah, item number B under line 3, we voted to take out.
Okay. All right.
When you get
I
that,
apologize.
Did you get one? There you go. Sorry, Dan.
And then we read number C and D,
Yep.
or read letter them, I should say.
well, that was on the highlight.
Does that answer your question? Okay.
And by the way, the lines are coming down where my trees are.
We haven't gotten the bill on ours yet.
So I have a motion to suspend the second and third reading. I have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, Aaron seconds. Roll call vote on that. Aaron,
Yay.
Lana,
Yes.
Al,
Yep.
Dan is, okay. And Jackson's absent. So, that is passed and approved and adopted this, 21st day of August 2024. Last item, I have estimates last time we talked about the green colored metal building down at the truck parking, and then. Gotta run back over here, hold on. Uno momento.
By the way, we need to commend Jim on how much work he spent down there on Haywood.
Nobody has a clue what
Yeah,
he,
yeah.
which Dee's gotta step into,
Yep.
what he's trying to add, and, yeah. It's overwhelming.
Yep.
They asked Al Brown for, excuse me, for an estimate to that green colored metal building down there. It used to be railroad stuff stored in there. Railroad doesn't want anything to do with the building. It actually belongs to the city. It was turned over by the railroad to us, but they left some of their stuff in there. I got a hold of them, they grabbed out what they wanted to keep, and there's some scrap metal and things like that in there. The building is covered with tin, and there's holes in the floor. It's caving in, it's in bad shape. So I asked Al Brandboy, give me an estimate to demolish that building, and he gave me a price or a rate of $2,000 to do that. Let's take everything out, including the concrete pillars that hold up the floor. And then in addition, I asked, there's a foundation for a similar type building, but the building is gone now, but the foundation's still there next to the brush pile. And so I asked, what would it take to get rid of that concrete, because they're big, long concrete. It's probably, I don't know, 25, 30 feet long, probably 8 inches wide, and I suppose about 3 foot high.
There was-
They go down into the ground another couple feet.
Yeah, there were barrels there, so you can imagine the footings that are underneath it.
So anyway, he gave us a price of $2,000 to take that out also. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, and you wanna go with that?
Jim, something else, did you explain to him that we also want a place to put the sand and the gravel from down by the school?
Well, yeah, we'll be putting that down at the brush pile inside,
Okay, you're gonna put-
inside
you're
there,
gonna put
yeah.
that inside there.
I've already talked to Tony about moving the dirt
Okay.
and stuff like that.
Okay. I didn't
So
know
for
if
that
this
you
inside the
building
fenced in
and
area.
the cement, are we talking 4, then 2 and 2?
Yeah, 4,000 total. For
he's
both-
taking all the cement and everything
Yeah.
out of here,
For both jobs.
and there's a lot of concrete.
But the stuff is just sitting there, and it's just collecting volunteer
Aren't we
trees.
kinda, by not doing something, aren't we in violation of the vacant building?
No, the city, that's why we wanna get rid of it, but we're not really in violation. The
Yeah.
city,
I mean, it just looks bad that if we leave one
Well-
sitting there that falls in.
Yeah, it needs to go.
We inherited the building from the railroad, and nobody has any paperwork, or for the use of it, other than it's just been allowed to exist for years. We just need to take care of it, and it kinda goes with the vacant building thing, we need to take responsibility for our stuff too.
I make a motion that we, give $4,000 to have all the concrete removed on both parts, including the building.
Got a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carried. So with that, there's no more business. Thanks for coming, we'll keep our ad going so we get that. Say that.
You wanna see if there's any questions from,
Well, we didn't have it on the agenda, but,
Yeah, I would have been.
okay.
I was wondering, it absolutely astounded me how fast the ash trees I had in my yard died, like, and I saw the trees in Rolfe as well. Yeah, I know you guys probably all know I'm not made of money, and I wondered if anybody in the city has any idea of where I might get help removing these trees? Because I know there are thousands of, I just didn't know if you know any resources to contact.
You mean as far as tree removal stuff?
Yeah, they're giant trees and,
Shown tree service?
But they won't provide her any assistance, she's asking for somebody to help pay for the cost of it.
yeah, I mean, it's thousands of dollars to take down a tree and I have like 5 of them. I just didn't know if maybe possibly you folks might know of a project or
How about you, Lana, you know of anybody?
I mean, I kind of.
Unfortunately, I got 6 that are coming down and, yeah, we're,
So,
of course, we've had that estimated already, I don't know, 3, 4 months ago, and it was only $600 a tree. But I don't have huge trees, I have smaller trees, but, so I'm sure that's a factor too, but I'm still waiting for him to
How many do you
arrive
have?
to take them down.
How many trees do you have?
I think 6 or 7. They're big trees, so. Anyway, like I said, I've been online, I
Yeah,
worded it as
unfortunately,
many
there's gonna be
different
a lot of
ways as I
people
could think of wording
running
it, asking, and it just doesn't. So I was kind of, this was my last, quest to, you know, see if somebody in person and not just online might know of any. That's okay, I'll keep trying. I have one other question. I understand that, the little corner of my, street got sprayed with weed killer by the city. I also found, the entire southern length of my property, trees have been sprayed with killer, including my apple tree that's right on the corner of the lawn part of my yard. And I wondered was that the city that did that? Because, Angie told me no, but Angie has
Yeah, I don't,
said things to me that weren't true before, so.
I think the only thing that we spray for is weeds,
Like that right on the corner.
but I'm not sure if that's been sprayed down there or not by us. I know the county does some stuff too.
The county would?
But I don't know, I can't say that they did, but the county does take care of some of the,
Is it along the highway?
No, it's down the hill in my grove. That's what concerned me. I thought if it was along where they mow, because I asked Angie, who mows that? She said, I don't know. So then I wasn't sure who to ask, and I could see if the trees were on that property, that is the county's property. Or I didn't know if it was city property, that's what I was asking. But these are actually, here's the road, and then my property kind of goes down the little hill, and then the trees are here. So the entire south side has all been killed.
the only thing that the city would spray for weeds is basically along the roadway,
Right.
and so I
I don't
can't
even know if
envision that.
we spray the roadway there.
But I can't envision anything going into the woods or
Right,
anything like
and
that.
that's kind of why I wondered. I didn't think you did, because it's actually on my property. And it's not like the trees they don't hang over the road or anything, so I called Alliant and asked if they did it, and they said, no, we cut trees, we don't kill them and then cut them, so. I just wondered, so I just need to get a hold of the county.
Is the grass around the apple tree dead?
it's so sad, it's the prettiest apple tree.
Freaking kids.
And I have problems with a neighbor and I did.
Now they're down, are they down in the floodplain?
What is the floodplain? I get flooded down in there a little
Do you-
bit.
Are they down close to the creek?
Yeah, a little bit. Well,
We did have some flooding down there.
About that too.
yeah, the creek is here and all the trees that are affected are here. So, usually doesn't get this far up, it comes, if this is my property and this is the creek, the trees are here and it usually floods like this. This is the little way station over there. And
Yeah.
it usually floods like this, it just doesn't, and the apple tree is here at the corner of the yard, halfway between the creek and the alley there.
You can't envision that we would be spraying down in that area.
Well, like I said, I didn't think you would do it on private property either, so that was my question. I also have, problems with the neighbor, and I was afraid they might have done that, which would not, surprise me. So I was just trying to figure out which way to go to take care of it. So, call the county for the ash trees, or they could
Well,
probably, they could probably
the
tell me
county, the
about
county won't,
or the spraying, I mean, the spraying.
Yeah,
of the
spraying, yeah.
trees. Okay,
you can talk to maybe a tree expert and find out what the condition of your apple trees are, whether they'll survive or not. I don't know.
yeah. Okay, like I said, just wanted to know if anybody sprayed those and if anybody knew of any resources. So, I appreciate your time.
I move to adjourn.
All right. I have a motion to adjourn on the second. All in favor? Nobody said you want to adjourn?
Like,
Yeah.